Hello, my friends. Welcome back to our study along of the World Order of Bahá'u'lláh, Selected Letters by Shoghi Effendi. I'm Jacqueline Claire. If you're joining for the first time, welcome. Come on in. This is a reading along, a study along of this momentous book. We are excavating the spiritual solutions to all of the world's problems. Linked below, you'll find a lot more information, including this book, if you want to read along, a study guide, information on the Bahai Faith in general, and the playlist for the weekly readings of this book, this series here, leading up to today. So we are jumping in towards the end of the Dispensation of Bahá'u'lláh by Shoghi Effendi, 1934. And this is paragraph 36, and there's a real shift here. Shoghi Effendi has been going from quoting the Bab, Baha'u'lláh, Abdu'l-Baha, elucidating the stupendous nature of Baha'u'llah's revelation. And then he takes a step back to really give this wonderful, clear bit about the manifestation of God, the mouthpiece of God's will for this day and age, versus the unknowable essence that is God, Paragraph 36. Dearly beloved friends, enough has been said, and the quoted excerpts from the writings of the Bab, of Baha'u'lláh, and of Abdu'l-Baha are sufficiently numerous and varied to convince the conscientious reader of the sublimity of this unique cycle in the world's religious history. It would be utterly impossible to over-exaggerate its significance or to overrate the influence it has exerted and which it must increasingly exert as its great system unfolds itself amidst the welter of a collapsing civilization. To whoever may read these pages, a word of warning seems, however, advisable before I proceed further with the development of my argument. Let no one meditating in the light of the aforequoted passages on the nature of the revelation of Baha'u'lláh mistake its character or misconstrue the intent of its author. The divinity attributed to so great a being and the complete incarnation of the names and attributes of God in so exalted a person should, under no circumstances, be misconceived or misinterpreted. The human temple that has been made the vehicle of so overwhelming a revelation must, if we be faithful to the tenets of our faith, ever remain entirely distinguished from the innermost spirit of spirits and the eternal essence of essences, that invisible yet rational God, who, however much we extol the divinity of his manifestations on earth, can in no wise incarnate his infinite, his unknowable, his incorruptible, and all-embracing reality in the concrete and limited frame of a mortal being. Indeed, the God who could so incarnate his own reality would, in the light of the teachings of Baha'u'lláh, cease immediately to be God. So crude and fantastic a theory of divine incarnation is as removed from and incompatible with the essentials of Baha'i belief as are the no less inadmissible pantheistic and anthropomorphic conceptions of God, both of which the utterances of Baha'u'lláh emphatically repudiate and the fallacy of which they expose. He who in unnumbered passages claimed his utterance to be the voice of divinity, the call of God himself, thus solemnly affirms in the Kitabiyagan. To every discerning and illumined heart, it is evident that God, the unknowable essence, the divine being, is immeasurably exalted beyond every human attribute, such as corporal existence, ascent and descent, egress and regress. He is and hath ever been veiled in the ancient eternity of his essence, and will remain in his reality everlastingly hidden from the sight of men. He standeth exalted beyond and above all separation and union, all proximity and remoteness. God was alone, there was none else beside him, is a sure testimony of this truth. From time immemorial, Baha'u'lláh, speaking of God, explains, He, the divine being, hath been veiled in the ineffable sanctity of his exalted self, and will everlastingly continue to be wrapped in the impenetrable mystery of his unknowable essence. 10,000 prophets, each a Moses, are thunderstruck upon the Sinai of their search at God's forbidding voice. Thou shalt never behold me, whilst a myriad messengers, each as great as Jesus, stand dismayed upon their heavenly thrones by the interdiction, mine essence, thou shalt never apprehend. How bewildering to me, insignificant as I am, Baha'u'lláh, in his communion with God, affirms, is the attempt to fathom the sacred depths of thy knowledge. How futile my efforts to visualize the magnitude of the power inherent in thine handiwork, the revelation of thy creative power. When I contemplate, O my God, the relationship that bindeth me to thee, he in yet another prayer revealed in his own handwriting testifies, I am moved to proclaim to all created things, verily I am God, and when I consider my own self, lo, I find it coarser than clay. He is a great God, you know. This is Baha'u'lláh talking about just that indescribable essence of essences that is God. The door of the knowledge of the Ancient of Days, Baha'u'lláh further states in the Kitabiyagan, being thus closed in the face of all beings, he, the source of infinite grace, hath caused those luminous gems of holiness to appear out of the realm of the Spirit in the noble form of the human temple, and be made manifest unto all men, that they may impart unto the world the mysteries of the unchangeable being, and tell of the subtleties of his imperishable essence. All the prophets of God, his well-favored, his holy and chosen messengers, are, without exception, the bearers of his names and the embodiments of his attributes. These tabernacles of holiness, these primal mirrors which reflect the light of unfading glory, are but expressions of him who is the invisible of the invisibles. I like that. All right, my friends, well, that concludes paragraph 40 of the Dispensation. of Bahá'u'lláh. Thank you as always for joining me. If you are moved and inspired to like this video, go ahead and do that. It will help other people find it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, comment. I would love to hear any of your thoughts, your research, your questions, your reactions to this. And if you would like to support my work, you can find links below to do that, as well as bring some beautiful spiritual realism fine art into your life. I believe that art reflects our spirits, things that are unique and handmade reflect our unique nature, and we are made by the hands of God. So there's a spiritual dynamism that happens when we are around handmade things, similar to when we are out in nature, these things that resonate with our spirits. So if you'd like to find some art, be sure to check out JacquelineClaireArt.com, and there are links below for that. I believe those are all my announcements for today. Again, this is a weekly study along series every Friday, 2 p.m. Join me here on YouTube. And until next time, I wish you the best for playing your unique part in what? Making this world a better place. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.